Yeah, we're back. Welcome back to my own YouTube channel. Not even gonna ask you to like and subscribe because honestly, I haven't put up enough material to honor that request. So I'll do my best throughout this off season to come on back with more videos. Got kind of busy doing basically two jobs, doing television and working for Racer X. But finally, I've gotten free time to do videos and to go riding. Got to get my kid back on the 65 with Struggle Street today. I think I've ridden twice, maybe 3 times this year. Struggle Street today on the gnarly turn track over here at Club Mex. But watching the struggles on the 65, my kid's decent on a 50. That's all he wants to ride. He doesn't want to ride the 65. And then coming here to Club and seeing the effort and sacrifice that all these people are putting in to try to make it in this sport, be it the upcoming amateurs or the pros that are on a team right now, it's putting it all in perspective for me. Youth sports, the roller coaster ride, why we want it so bad, why we care so much, why we try so hard, why it drives us all crazy. I think it's very easy for people to make blanket statements about 50 parents and amateur dads and mini bike dads and why are they trying so hard and why are they putting so much pressure on their kids. I don't think that's really fair, because once you start living that emotional roller coaster, and let me tell you, I've lived this much of it. There are people out here at Club MX and the other great training facilities throughout America that are living it at, like, if I could take my hand off the camera, like that much, right? And I was thinking about how primal this actually is. We care so much because we're wired to do it that way, because this is our offspring. And we no longer have to worry about those woods over there having bears and alligators and snakes or dinosaurs or other things that could try to kill our kids. Our goal always, as human beings, as really living creatures, is to make sure our offspring thrive, right? But we have grown more sophisticated and more civilized with our world, where the basics are already taken care of. The basics of getting them fed, and in this case, more recent history, educated, are already taken care of. We're up to much more sophisticated things, like can they get a job? Can they be nice people? Can they succeed at something? And we're not gonna sit back and wait till they're in their 20s to see if it works out and they get a job. No, we're going to try to have them achieve something. And at this age, sports is generally, although yes, there are other things that could be done, certainly dance, or you could consider that under the sports umbrella, playing an instrument. There are many, many things kids can do. We are wired to try hard and to care more than anything else about our kids, and that's what makes us crazy. And speaking of wired, want to thank Anti-Gravity Batteries, still on board with my videos, even though I haven't done one in a long time. Put Anti-Gravity Battery in your bike and you will instantly save weight. It's a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot easier than like swapping out all these bolts for titanium bolts. This battery is so lightweight, it's like the weight of a baseball. Or you can get one that weighs the same as your stock bike and it'll provide a whole lot more cranking power. If you're an off-road racer and you got dead engine starts, if you're a motocross guy that stalls your bike in that extra split second of the bike not cranking, spinning, not firing, the anti-gravity battery will solve that. Or take weight off your bike, or get the big battery that even has built-in jump starting. If you're a guy like me and you go months and months and months without riding, you might need that to get your bike started. I mentioned the weight of the anti-gravity battery being the same as baseball. Yeah, so that's what we're deep into now. I would love for my kid to be able to ride dirt bikes all the time, but I'm a little busy on weekends. And what do we do on weekends usually? We go riding, but I'm out of town. So the riding thing is never gonna become full-time. We got just enough riding in to be halfway decent at the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge this year. He got 6th place and was on top of the board in qualifying early on. But that's probably gonna be the pinnacle and the peak of his riding career. This 65 thing, like I said, has been a struggle and I wanna get frustrated, but I gotta tell myself, that's just primal. That's just primal, wanting to see them be awesome and succeed at everything. My son likes baseball, comes downstairs every morning. I had to pay for the MLB app. He watches highlights of the games every morning. Now the season's over. I don't know what he's gonna do from now until next March and April when the season starts again. He loves baseball, and you know what? I'm one of those guys, I'm not an expert on pretty much anything. When you play a youth sport like that, they provide coaches. In fact, I had to sign paperwork saying that I would not interact with the coach or my child during practice or games. I have to wait 24 hours after a game, a cool down period, before I can even approach the coach. I had to sign that. They are already in those stick and ball sports setting up the culture of the coach is in charge, not mom and dad. And for me, since I'm not even there half the time, and even when I am, do you think I know more about baseball or working on dirt bikes or coaching dirt bikes or really teaching anyone anything than people who are actually qualified to do it? Of course I don't. So I'm more than happy to leave it to the coaches in that sport. And if I'm not there, my wife can take them to practice and she can sit there and leave it to the coaches. For me, that works best. And I thought also emotionally it would be a lot easier because I wouldn't have to feel guilt. It's on the coaches. My decision, all I do is hand them over. But now that it's the off season for me and I was able to go to 2 games over the weekend, I hadn't been to games in months, it got a lot harder because we watched my son strike out 3 times on Saturday. And by Sunday morning, when we came back for the next set of games, I just sat there in a crumpled mess. People probably thought I had watched NFL games early in the afternoon and was just hammered because I just sat there with sunglasses and a hat like this. I was depressed. I was mortified. My kid struck out 3 times on Saturday and I was bummed. And I started thinking about everything. Should I have had him in 2 leagues so we could play twice as much this year? Should I have signed him up for more coaching? Should I have gone and practiced batting every single night after dinner? Maybe I do that 2-3 times a week. Was it not enough? Should I have been doing 7? Maybe I was gone too much and we didn't get to practice enough. Should I have taken to the field every morning in the summer and then hit every evening? Was this the right coaching strategy? Everything. What am I been teaching him? And I started watching YouTube videos to try to teach myself how to hit better and pitch better and all these things. And then Saturday, we got home after playing baseball games all day. And then we went out with the tee in the field and I pitched to him and he hit off the tee and he hit off the pitching. And we worked until it was 8 p.m. and it was dark and I was ready to get smashed in the face by a baseball if he hit one. Hard to hit when it's completely pitch black dark. But if he had done it, I would have got hit in the face because we couldn't see anything, but we had to put in the work. Because at just turning 9 years old, I was already having a crisis point intervention where I was like, maybe baseball just isn't for us. All because of 3 strikeouts over the course of a game on Saturday. So I was sitting there like this. First at bat, my kid barely grazed the ball. It went to the pitcher. He managed to be safe on first. Second at bat, hit a decent hit, a single. Go, 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 go. Third at bat, a decent hit, a single. Then 2 walks, and then capped off the weekend with a double into center field. There you go, there you go. That's problem for a lefty. That's problem for a lefty. You got it, baby. The difference between Saturday and Sunday could not have been more stark. And the roller coaster emotional ride that I was on for something that barely counts for anything, 9U youth baseball. By the way, at age 9, it's the first year that there's kids pitching to other kids. They're all a disaster. They're all up and down. It's also the first year they could steal bases. It's the first year the kids are pretty much good enough to hit balls into the outfield and the outfielders have to catch the ball. And my son's a lefty. He has to play the outfield because it's the first year where they say lefties can only play first base, outfield, or pitch. You cannot play other positions if you're left-handed. It all turns so serious so quickly. And that's the difference when you get on a 65, which happens around the same age. Suddenly you have clutch and gears and a bike that's way faster than probably most kids can really handle when you think about how good a 65 is. We're grading on a curve here when we see rippers on 65. If you gave a 50 with an auto clutch to the average kid, he could probably learn to ride it pretty quick. They are not learning to ride one of these 65s effectively pretty quickly. Everything elevates real quick and it gets real serious real fast. And we're only talking age 9. I went through that emotional crisis. I was practically walking out of the game on a cloud, on air. All that extra hitting we did Saturday night in the dark, maybe it paid off, or maybe we're not doing it all wrong. It's incredible how much we care about this. And then you extrapolate that over, well, we got 10 more years of this before college. And I'm not even saying he's gonna be a college baseball player, but I'm gonna say we're gonna try as hard as we can. Today, it's coming to club to ride a 65 and practice that. Tomorrow, it's private baseball lessons after school, and then the regular baseball practice after that, and then more on Thursday, and then a game on Friday. This is what we've signed up for. You've done it too. You're doing it with your kids. We are ambitious. We're ambitious people. But we don't have to use our ambition to go hunt and gather and kill and protect the herd from predators or other rival tribes anymore. So what else are we gonna dedicate it to? We're still gonna dedicate it to our kids just like we always did. We're still gonna dedicate it to our kids. But now the only tribal thing we have are team sports. The only sense of hunting and gathering and competition, I guess, is checkered flags or runs scored in a baseball game. This is just who we are. And for me, it was always hard to relate to because my parents were the exact opposite of most of the parents that you're gonna meet that are involved in youth sports. I'll have a whole separate video about the weirdness of my family. Most people think their kids are better at things than they probably are, and they're probably more ambitious than they probably should be with how good their kids are and should be at something. My dad was the exact opposite. We were pretty much told, don't try anything, you'll fail. You're not gonna be good. Don't go for it. Don't attempt anything, you will fail. I'm not sure if that was because my dad was cheap and just figured if he stopped us from wanting to do anything, it would cost him less money, or maybe it was the ultimate way to keep us humble by literally telling us you're not good at anything. I don't know what that was. I used to, for 3 years, I'd say 1987, 88, and 89, throw a baseball up in the air and hit it with a wiffle ball bat and announce my own baseball games in the backyard, and then throw a ball up against a concrete wall we had behind our house and practice throwing and pitching and catching by myself for 3 years before my parents even signed me up to play Little League. And only that was because all my other friends kept asking my parents, why are you not playing Little League with us? And I was told by my parents, well, you're not good enough to play. They didn't know that. So I barely got to play baseball growing up. I am the exact opposite, my upbringing, than what most of the people here I'm talking about is. It's a little bit generational. People are much gnarlier now than they even were 20 or 30 years ago. It's all foreign to me, how much people care, how resourceful they are, how hard they try, how badly they want their kids to succeed. But when I come over here to club and I see the efforts that people are putting in, I mean, literally living in motorhomes. I was talking to Mark Finnis and his mom and dad this evening. They have a beautiful house in Indiana where they're from, sitting on 10 acres, but they've been living in a motorhome here. And Mark himself comes out. His dad told him to take a week off of riding after the LA SMX. So he took a week off of riding. So he figured, I'm just gonna go nail it in this gym, 2 sessions a day, morning and then afternoon, just killing himself. I mean, when he was walking over here, he could barely walk because he did leg day today after going riding. That level of ambition, that is elite, elite, elite. And in my line of work, I tend to surround myself with those people because that's who succeeds and that's who you see at the professional level. It's not normal, but to us it is. That just, we will do anything for our kids. It's not rational. It doesn't pencil out on paper. There's no return on investment really when you look at it. I think that's what most people trick themselves into believing, be it in this sport or a stick and ball sport, that there would be a return on that investment. Let's be honest. Yes, Major League Baseball players make a lot of money, but you want to know a crazy stat? I read, I believe there's been about 30,000 people ever who actually were Major League Baseball players, which means that if every player who had ever played in the majors ever was alive today and they all went to a game, they wouldn't even fill the stands up of one stadium. That's how rare it is to be a Major League Baseball player and make those millions of dollars. There's really not a return on the investment that we're all putting in. But we can't help it. This is not practical. This is from here. This is us just wanting to see your kids succeed and questioning yourself, did you give them enough of the tools to do it? And I experienced it on the smallest level of striking out and the smallest level of, oh, he's not nearly as fast on the 65 learning clutching gears as he is on the 50. And then the euphoria and elation. No, I'm gonna just say the relief of seeing you get 3, 4 hits and a couple walks the next day. Just the relief of, okay, we're not doing everything totally wrong. That level of emotion, I don't think you could describe it until you say, this is who we are. This is who we're wired to be. We are wired to be overly ambitious, protective, to want to see our kids succeed in unimaginable ways, and to say, hey, they've only got one life. We've got to get this right. We don't get do-overs. On the other hand, I want to thank Taylor Swift. She's practically raising my daughter. My daughter has now taken up guitar and singing because of Taylor Swift. That was easy. Thanks, Tay-Tay. Everything else, it's a lot of work. And my respect level for the parents who are doing this in any sport has gone up so massively over the last couple of years as I'm just getting started on this roller coaster ride. I'm not gonna bash on these people, dude, because they're people. And this is how people were wired naturally to act. We've just got a lot different things to act on now. And if you'll please excuse me, I've got to stop this video because I know that this kid is doing what we don't want, which is play video games and watching YouTube. Are you watching YouTube? You watching YouTube?
Kinda.
That's the other reason we're so ambitious about getting him on dirt bikes and getting him on the baseball field. Stops him from doing that. Now I got to go stop him.